At Headingley Carnegie for this great game on paper, and this is the way the Leeds Rhinos line up. Webb at fullback, Smith, Ellis, Senior, Donald, Sinfield the skipper in place of the injured Maguire, and Burrow. The forwards, Luluai, Diskin and Scruton, Peacock, Lauatiti and Worrell. And on the bench for the Rhinos, Bailey, Ablett, Tansey and Burgess. The coach is Brian McLennan. Now the Warriors, Mathers at fullback, Colbon, Goulding, Carmont and Richards, Coyle and Thomas Luluai, who is the cousin of Leeds' Kylie Luluai. Forwards, Fielden, McIlorum, Coley, Hanson, Bailey and O'Loughlin, the captain. Past a late fitness test from all accounts, the Wigan skipper. It's Hyam, Paliasina, Tompkins and O'Carroll on the bench for the coach, Brian Noble. Well, good to see that the skies have cleared, that the sun is shining down. The temperature is pretty chilly, but this match will warm the cockles of your heart. Wigan began the weekend third placed in the table. They topped the table in 1998 and 2000. To maintain hopes of doing so in 2008, they must maintain their impressive Headingley record here against a Leeds side who look near certainties for the league leaders' shield. Well, that's according to the St Helens captain, Sean Long. They can open up this 6-point gap here with St Helens and Warrington both playing tomorrow. Well, they met Leeds in the inaugural grand final, did Wigan, in 1998. They won that one, but they've lost all three of their subsequent trips to Old Trafford. Leeds have won 2 of the 3 grand finals that they have played in since. Won 3 of 4 against Leeds last year, including a home and away double in the Super League against the champions-elect. And they actually won here twice last year, but they lost 36-6 in the grand final qualifier when Old Trafford was beckoning. If Leeds do finish top, it'll be only the second time in the summer era that that has happened. Brian McLennan is aiming to emulate Tony Smith and win the Super League title in his first year. If he does, he'll have guided Leeds to back-to-back championships for the first time in this famous club's history. And there is another little subplot to this match tonight. Brian McLennan going head-to-head, and there is the Leeds coach with his opposite number, Brian Noble, for the first time since 2006, when they clashed horns in the International Tri-Nation Series. McLennan won 3 of 4 at international level. They've kept Wigan waiting here in the cold, have the Leeds Rhinos, but now they leave their dressing room. They are the side in form, 4 straight wins, 9 from 10 so far, including being crowned as World Club Champions. They say you can throw the form book out of the window when it comes to derby matches. This is anything but a derby. It's a battle of the roses. But Steve-O, it is an outstanding game on paper.
Certainly looks that way, though I'm sure that Brian Noble, the Wigan coach, would have been a lot better suited if Trent Barrett would have been able to take to the field. We've made it quite clear over the past few weeks that most of the grounds have been very heavy indeed. We've had snowstorms, we've had a very strong wind as well, and the ground here really looks in superb fashion. There's the official tonight, Steve Ganson. And Wigan must be wondering the way that Leeds have completely ripped the opposition apart with some delightful rugby league football so far. And I'm sure that they will be looking towards giving this ball plenty of width tonight. It's going to be a hard task for the Warriors, but you can never write them off. They always play with great spirit.
You have to play with a bit of pace when you take on the Leeds Rhinos these days as well. Underneath the kickoff, young Thomas Coyle, who is making his Super League debut at standoff and filling in for the injured Trent Barrett. And he's just had his second touch of the football as he passed it then to Harrison Hansen, who was grounded by a combination of Ellis and Sinfield. This now is the Wigan skipper, calf injury for Sean O'Loughlin. Only passed a late fitness test on the way over here today, but he is fit to play. Wigan with a little half break. This is Thomas Luluai. Good hands from him. He finds Richie Mathers. Richie Mathers, of course, first appearance at Headingley since May 2006, when he left these shores and went to Australia and the Gold Coast Titans. Now he is back And in Super League with the Wigan Warriors, Lee Smith doing well to collect that bouncing ball behind his own try line and work it back into the field of play.
Great build-up there by the Wigan outfit. They'll be really buoyed by that. The good work by the winger Lee Smith. He had to. He knew how to just step on his right foot, get around it. You'll notice that the shadows are pretty long. The sun will be shining right into the Rhinos' face early in this first half. So Wigan would supposedly go for the high kick.
This is Keith Senior, ball in hand for the Leeds Rhinos, halted by 4 cherry and white jerseys. Thomas Coyle, the number 25 on his back, is certainly putting himself about early in the piece here. And someone's put themselves about a little bit too much. It's a high shot. Phil Bailey picked out by referee Steve Ganson, and it's a penalty to the Leeds Rhinos.
Well, they know they have to keep this man under lock and key virtually. Titi, you remember last season he was being activated as a super sub, but not this year. The new coach, Brian McLennan, has given him every opportunity, and he's playing out of his skin.
This is Kylie Ludawai. We can try to wrestle him to the ground or push him towards the sideline. Ball has come out, though, and it's a knock-on. And the referee will put the scrum down, and Wigan will have head and feet.
Well, that's a huge win for Darryl Goulding, principally the main defender involved in this tackle. Wrestling with Titi, dragging him to the sideline, and Titi loses the ball. And I think it's a massive confidence boost for him and Coyle. Young players here playing on a big stage against some international players and being asked to do a real big job. Everyone talks about Leeds in their attack, how sensational it's been. But I think the biggest improvement this year has been in their defence, Eddie. We know they have the skills, but they've managed to defend as if they're 2 points behind and they're in the last 5 minutes of the game. And it's hard to cultivate that habit amongst teams, but Leeds have had it for the first 9 games this year.
Coming up to 3 minutes on the watch, and Wigan in possession here, but the ball is lost on halfway, and Leeds have it back in the shape of Kevin Sinfield, who was picked up then by Michael McIlorum. Legs came up in the air, but the referee, Steve Ganson, his patience holds and doesn't blow the whistle for the penalty, but now he does, because Peacock was trying to get to his feet, and Phil Bailey again is the man who is penalised by the referee.
Well, he won't get any pats on the back in regards to his coach, Brian Noble. They've obviously come with a ploy to try to slow the Leeds attack down, but to give away silly penalties like that is not what the doctor ordered.
Glorious opportunity here for Leeds with Ali Titi. Tackle low down by Thomas Coyle. They're 3 metres short of the line. It's Diskin to Burrow. Burrow then finds Nick Scruton. Nick Scruton is scragged to the floor. This is Diskin again. Here is Sinfield, and Sinfield finds Webb, and they go wide to Ellis, and Gareth Ellis is halted by Fielden, amongst others, over on that far side. Here now Sinfield again, stabs the kick in, ball bouncing in the in-goal area. Thomas Coyle, though, is experienced enough, even though he is just 19 years of age, to allow that ball to run dead.
Just a little bit too strong there from Kevin Sinfield. He wanted a really short one. It went wide. Maybe he was trying to ricochet off the post there. Bit of a let-off by Wigan. They've come up with far too many errors, given away the penalties.
Wigan now trying to get themselves over the halfway line. They will here, surely with Bailey, and they do. Bailey in Leeds territory, halted by the 3-man tackle. 4th one for Wigan, this set of 6. Michael McIlorum, the dummy half, flicks the pass to Andy Coley. Coley drags Leeds a little bit further back towards their own post. That's the last tackle, though. Here's McIlorum. McIlorum to Thomas Lulawai. They go wide to O'Loughlin. Kick down the line, and Webb is after this. Oh, but it's very well picked up over on that far side by Lee Smith. Good defence again from the Leeds Rhinos winger.
It had to be as well, because it was a teasing little kick in at all. That's going to be a penalty. Well, they've come here on a mission, and the Warriors, and Coley has not heard the referee, but is calling him over and said, you're penalised, you lifted him. Little doubt about that.
Well, that's 3 penalties that Leeds have received, and all of them for foul play.
And you couldn't argue with any of them, could you? They're all legitimate decisions that the referee had to penalise. It's making life a little hard, though, for the red and whites.
Have Wigan, Sean McRae come here, do you think, to try and just rattle Leeds and knock them out of their stride?
I think they have, Eddie. I think they feel that the only way to beat this Leeds Rhino side is to get up in their face and to really harass them, try to force some error. The one thing that is interesting to note is when they've got the football, they're prepared to offload and they're prepared to shift on early tackle count. And that's something that perhaps Wigan haven't been doing quite as well. They've certainly been defending well. I actually watched them play against Wakefield last week, and they defended their line set after set after set. But without Trent Barrett being on the side, perhaps there is a little question mark over some of their structured play and some of their setup play. And I think they're going to work really hard on that tonight. And as I said, they've set their stall out in the early tackle counts already.
The kick from Kevin Sinfield is an absolute peach, and Colburn is trapped in the in-goal area. It looked for all money as though that was going to fly out and go dead in goal, but the ball just stood up for Brian McLennan's men in the in-goal area. Look at this.
You could see the backspin on it, though, and that's why it kicked up straight away. Good work by Liam Colburn, it had to be.
And Ali Lauatiti was injured in that collision. He's just limped his way back into the field of play, waiting for the goal line dropout. He doesn't look terribly good, does he, Lauatiti? Good long dropout, though, from Wigan. Webb was underneath it. Luluai will run it back. Tries to go between O'Loughlin and Bailey. Lauatiti still struggling out on this left-hand side as Webb was the dummy half. Here is Nick Scruton now.
Well, the Warriors have come to get involved in a real battle, but that was just an incident there, wasn't it, with Lauatiti? Nothing untoward.
Diskin finds Gareth Ellis. Ellis, a beautiful slip pass.
Outstanding play there from Ellis.
Burrow with a knock-on. Just lost the plot a little bit then. There was a dummy runner running in front of Burrow. Took his eye off the ball.
Be careful going through late, mate.
And I think it was Jamie Peacock who actually had to move his head out of the way of the flight and the path of that football. 0-0 here at Headingley. Lauatiti limping off. Bill Arthur.
Problems for the Rhinos. Lauatiti limping off. Simon Worrell already off with what looks like a shoulder problem. He's been replaced by Carl Ablett. Ryan Bailey will replace Ali Lauatiti. So problems for the Rhinos already. You know, the Rhinos had a problem before the game even started because their legendary timekeeper, Billy Watts, 85 years old, hasn't missed a game since 1975, home or away. Billy, slightly under weather, sitting at home watching this one. His first miss then since 1975. Let's hope it's not an omen for the Rhinos.
Let's hope so indeed, and our best wishes to Billy, one of the great clubmen of the Engage Super League, one of the great clubmen of Rugby League over all of those years. Hope he's feeling a lot better. Maybe the Rhinos will make him feel better if they manage to get the win here, but Wigan have come to have a pop at them. Brian Noble was our guest last night, and he said that they had to do as much about their own performance as worry about what Leeds were going to do. And so far, it's working for them. And here's the ball out, fed out wide to George Carmont. Important tackle that was by Ablett. O'Loughlin finds Coley. The Headingley crowd here just holding its breath a little bit. They've noticed that these two early changes have been made because of injury. And Wigan in possession here, but on the last tackle, and Coyle slides the kick through. It's not the best. It's into the arms of Scott Donald.
But it's a good chase, and that's the most important factor. Brian Noble will be happy the way that Wigan are just building up to it. We've made the point that Trent Barrett not out there, but I tell you what, Thomas Luluai and the loose forward Sean O'Loughlin, they are combining really well.
Webb to Peacock, taking on Bailey, taking on Coyle.
Leeds need to just roll the sleeves up, use a bit of the beef out there.
Ellis trying to go through two of them. Coley stood firm. Gareth Ellis is grounded. Gets to his feet, plays the ball to Diskin. Diskin then to Luluai. Luluai halted by a flying tackle from Andy Coley. Last one for Leeds. And it's with Sinfield. Up goes the kick. And that will hang in the air. Bailey is after this. The ball, though, bounces and is swooped on by Diskin. He finds Scott Donald. Donald backs himself for the corner. And Donald, does he get there? Did his feet hit the touchline? Did his feet hit the post?
Did he get it down before his foot hit the flag in the corner?
Well, this try would take him level with Chris Hicks at the top of the try-scoring charts. Oh, I think he's got it.
Yeah. Just down in front. Super work from Diskin. And it just shows you you can pay the price if you do not go for the high kick. The Wigan players, they just stood and waited to let the ball bounce. Diskin found open space and found the speedster. This will be the combination of TRY, got to be.
Try is given by the video referee. Scott Donald, he really did back himself then to beat the Wigan cover to the corner. Managed to keep the legs up as well. And Scott Donald hits double figures for 2008 and gives the Rhinos the lead.
Tremendous high kick there. Kevin Sinfield got it. You can't afford to do that. Diskin says, hey, he's got the space, he's got the speed, and he's got the try. No one made any attempt at all at doing that. And not only that, they lacked the positional play. He tried his best, did Liam Colburn. How close is that? What a finish by this guy. He's in scintillating form.
He is. It's his 76th consecutive appearance as well, and he joins ex-Manly teammate Chris Hicks, now at Wallington, at the top of the try-scoring charts. Sinfield, though, misses with the conversion, but Leeds are ahead by 4 points to 0.
Well, I'll be pleased with Brian McLennan, but I'm not so sure that the Wigan coach, Brian Noble, will feel that same way. It amazes me that when the ball's up in the air, Sean McRae, you've got to take the opportunity. If you've got it in your hands, the opposition can't score.
Well, that's exactly right, Steve. That ball was there to be caught. It wasn't. They weren't really under a lot of pressure. They needed to make a play at it, but even when they didn't make a play at it, they still had numbers for me. They could still have adjusted it. Leeds weren't entitled to score that try. Scott Donald did particularly well. Showed Liam Colburn the outside, and his pace was exceptional.
High kick-off from Leeds. It was fielded from Wigan, rather. It was fielded by Lee Smith of Leeds, given to Scruton. And here come the Rhinos now with this. Oh, and that was high around the neck of Kylie Luluwai. There's a lot of high shots tonight in this match, and we've only been going 12 and a quarter minutes.
They've come to bruise it. Little doubt about it, and they're going to try to see if this Leeds outfit has any sort of soft belly on it. That's great play.
That's good defence by Pat Richards. Here's Nick Scruton again. He's thought about the offload briefly, just turned in the tackle, and it in the right hand, decided against it. The ball finds its way to Rob Burrow, and Burrow's kick is straight down the throat of Liam Colburn. Not the best kick from the Leeds Rhinos scrum half, but they're there in numbers to halt the Colburn run.
After conceding a try, that's a really good recovery set from Wigan. They contain Leeds to about 30 metres from their own line. They put pressure on Burrow on the kick. They've got the ball up to the halfway line, and now a penalty awarded to this Wigan side offers them the first chance in this match to really attack and ask some questions of Leeds close to their own line. You see the two markers, 10 and 16, need to be stood directly one behind the other. They're split too early.
Pretty smart work by Richie Mathers. He knew that they were not set up. Made contact. No option for the official.
Just notice when the penalty was awarded, Pat Richards came over from the left-hand side where he normally stands, and they've got the wind at their backs in this first half, Wigan. I wonder whether there was a slight question there about whether they were going to have a kick at goal.
I think, Eddie, what you'll find is that Pat Richards does most of the kicking for touch as well, and I think he just ambled in and thought, well, I'm going to kick the ball down here, and Thomas Lulai just decided. I don't think there was any doubt they were going to attack this line.
Here they are with McIlorum. It's a good run from the young hooker as well. McIlorum keeping Mickey Hyam out of the side at the moment. He's on the substitutes bench tonight is Hyam. There's a long ball, finds Thomas Coyle. Wigan will come down this side, and that's an ambitious kick. And it was a good kick as well, because Scott Donald came back and just shuttled the ball dead, taking no chances.
Good thinking by the youngster, Thomas Coyle. He dinked it into the surface, and it had to be pushed away by the winger.
Good work from Scott Donald in defence. This Thomas Coyle, 19 years of age, on his debut tonight. He was a standoff in the senior grand final of 2006 against St Helens, which Brian Noble's youngsters lost by 50 points to 12. He was hooker in 2005 grand final here against Leeds, which the Wigan Warriors won by 33 points to 22. Thomas Coyle, number 25 there, is an England under-18 international. Well, that's a mistake by O'Loughlin, they got away with it though. Here is Stuart Fielden.
Well,
He's
there were
had many battles against the Leeds Rhinos, of course, in the colours of Bradford.
Well, O'Loughlin wasn't watching there. Coley got the ball away pretty late in the tackle. I just get the impression that this Wigan outfit, when they're trundling the forwards through, they're not going with much strength and passion.
This is Coley. Coley finds Coyle. Coyle to Luluai. That's Harrison Hansen, grounded by the low tackle from Sinfield. Here now is Stuart Fielden. Bumps off the first challenge of Ellis. Can't get away from the next two, though. 4 tackles gone. McIlaurin, 11 metres short of the line, finds O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin to Mathers. Mathers dabs it, or attempted to dab it to the in-goal area, and it's swallowed up by this Leeds defence in the shape of Brent Webb.
Well, a good build-up, and I'm afraid it was a poor kick from the fullback, Richie Mathers. Now they'll have to defend pretty strongly now, try to keep Leeds deep within their own quarter.
Richie Mathers, who's jogging back into his defensive duties. He won the 2004 Grand Final with Leeds. Of course, he's an ex-Leeds full-back. 30 tries in 95 appearances. Then he went over to try his luck in Australia with the Gold Coast Titans. Didn't quite work out for him.
No, not quite. But interesting you point out both Richie and James Coyle, because last week, Thomas Coyle rather, last week Richie Mathers actually played at standoff for Wigan. Here he goes now, just making a little half break down the field. He actually played at standoff, and I think Brian Noble's probably looked at it and felt that they didn't quite offer enough, and that's why he's had to bring Thomas Coyle into the side to offer a few more passing options, play options.
That's Darryl Golding, who almost escaped the net. Here is McIlaurin. It's great to see so many youngsters in this Wigan side. Here is one who, of course, made the grade. That's a beautiful ball to O'Loughlin. Carmont gets the ball wide. And here is Pat Richards to bring it back nearer to the posts. And Wigan are level. Wonderful play from Wigan. And Sean O'Loughlin, their skipper, a beautiful pass. And Pat Richards, that's a great try from Wigan. Richards puts Wigan on the board. They are level.
Vintage stuff, plenty of pressure. Loughlin just puts him straight through there. Carmont does exactly the right thing. And Richards doesn't panic. He gets into a better position. And you can go for the conversion. What a beautiful offload. Richards just kept behind him. Made sure he didn't go in front. The combination, Luluai. We mentioned it earlier that without Trent Barrett, O'Loughlin is having to fit into a standoff position, and they are back with a vengeance. Super stuff, champagne try.
Well, he began the day needing 22 points for 500 with Wigan, and that's 4 of them chalked off. And the way this fellow kicks goals, Wigan should be ahead in the next couple of seconds.
Well, it's amazing, the turnaround in this Wigan career. His first season in the cherry and white jerseys, the fans and probably the club themselves were considering releasing him, allowing to go early before the end of his contract, but he has developed and improved, and possibly this season has been their best player so far.
Well, it's 4 tries and 34 goals now for Pat Richards.
It's all about making the extra man. You can see there Ellis has been sucked into the Wigan skipper, and it was just a matter of get through that gap. Dinks, although, draws the full back. Classic stuff. Game on.
Very much so, and Sinfield with the kick-off into open space. It's picked up by Phil Bailey, and Bailey, of course, playing in the second row. It was his late try that won the match here 12 months ago. 20 points to 18. 19 minutes on the watch. We're going to head 6-4 with Coyle and Luluai and Hansen. And they go wide again, and it's Carmont. That's better defence from Leeds this time, no.
He'll be happy as well, Brian Noble, mainly due to the fact that nearly all their attacking ploys have been coming on their left-hand side. They're obviously pinpointing Gareth Ellis out in that right centre. They certainly sucked him in to get the overlap.
Thomas Coyle goes for a 40-20, but that's straight down the throat of Brent Webb. Brian Noble with Bradford and Wigan has got a fantastic record on this ground. He's won 10 of 16 visits here with both clubs. So he knows what it takes to beat the Leeds Rhinos on their own mitten. This is Keith Senior now for Leeds. Yes. Oh, it's a penalty to Wigan. Keith Senior had hold of the Wigan player and was trying to con the referee into giving Leeds the penalty. Steve Ganson decided to give the penalty the other way. Will Pat Richards be tempted to have a kick a goal here? Well, yes, he will.
Well, is he holding there? Yes. That's it. Spotted. Officials got it right. They'll take the 2. They'll be happy. They're a little bit disjointed to the Rhinos at the moment. Silly play by the experienced centre Keith Senior. And there'll be a little bit of doubt running through the minds of these Rhinos, mainly due to the fact that
still, boys,
Wigan a little bit under strength, but they've taken to them and they're rocking the boat big time.
Yes, they are indeed, and Richards, this wind is at his back, and he's in centre field. There's the view that he has. And Pat Richards here to try and stretch the Wigan advantage. Oh, it's a great kick. It's a fabulous kick. And Leeds 4, Wigan 8.
And fully deserved as well.
Well, he's not been down this road too many times, Brian McLennan. Castleford, of course, the only team thus far to beat his Leeds Rhinos in 2008.
And probably the big problem is that they have that 4-point lead, and there looks to be, in the next 10 minutes or so, there's going to be a big change in the weather. We've already had hailstones. What a hit!
Peacock on Fielden. Let's go down to the sideline. More injury news from Bill.
Well, it's just an update really on the Leeds situation, and Brian McLennan, the problems really are just building a little bit, because Simon Worrell has a shoulder injury. It's our old friend a stinger, Eddie, and he's lost the feeling in that shoulder, and at the moment they're not sure whether he can come back. They're hoping that that'll be the case. And Ali Lauatiti has a bang on the knee. You couldn't see it there, but his right knee, I think it is very heavily iced, and that again they're just going to have to wait and see whether he gets any feeling back and can come back on. But if those two sitting on the sidelines, two of his big guys, then that causes a problem for them in the pack.
Very much so. It causes a problem for them in the rotation policy as well. Lauatiti, the knee is heavily iced. This is Bailey.
What is fascinating to watch about the Wigan side is how they develop and play an attack without Trent Barrett. Perhaps at times last year they were over-reliant on Barrett. Too much of the ball went to him too often in the plays. Now one or two of the more players having to get their hands on the ball and direct the side in attack.
Well, Wigan invincible at home. They've won the last 11 in 11 months, but they've won only 2 of 5 on the road here, but they have rattled the cage of the Leeds Rhinos. There's no doubt about that.
Well, we're just seeing some uncharacteristic errors, aren't we, from a side now that you know, has been forced to make 3 changes in the first 20 minutes. Here's Carl Ablett now. He thinks that Gareth Ellis is linking behind him. That pass wasn't actually meant for the winger. He thought Gareth Ellis was just coming off his hip there, and there was a little short ball for him. But of course, Gareth Ellis was sitting back, having played the ball on the previous play. So they're just making some errors now. We're just seeing a little bit of pressure on them, but it's because Wigan have played according to how Brian Noble, I'm sure, has sent them out to play, and they're sticking to their structure, they're sticking to their game plan, and probably more importantly, they've got plenty of possession and good field position.
Brian Noble said last night that his team had trained well all week, were prepared, and were very much looking forward to this challenge. I bet they are. 8-4 up. Here is Coyle, here is Luluai, pops the pass then to Harrison Hansen. He goes down under the challenge from the Leeds defender. This now is Luluai, here is McAlorum. And Bailey is there and Diskin there to bring him down on the last tackle.
He's playing well as well, Michael McAlorum, mainly due to the fact that he's been instrumental in controlling the play the ball area. Oh, that's a bad miss by the skipper. Good work from Lee Smith, the winger. Play on,
the referee shouts, play on.
Well, someone must have shouted in the crowd, or
well, the referee
whatever.
shouted surrender, and then
play on.
Smith stood up, and they then said play on. Surely if he shouts surrender, doesn't that mean the tackle is completed and the man in possession surrendered in the tackle? Anyway. This is Brent Webb. They come wide here to Scott Donald, cuts in field, Donald. Important tackle there by Coyle and Colbon. Senior to Burrow, Burrow to Diskin, Diskin to Sinfield. and hands out wide to Ablett, and Ablett hands it on to Ellis, and they're asking for 6 more here from the referee, who doesn't give it them. They claim there was a Wigan hand in there. And it's Ablett again on the last tackle for the Leeds Rhinos.
The point I was making, Eddie, is that the Wigan are McAloran.
That's a lovely kick, great kick from Burrow. That's a knock on. It's offside though, offside to Wigan. Leeds were offside, chasing the kick down. Inside the 10.
Wasn't a bad option though, was it? Just half a metre from Webb. There you'll see it. Not much in it, but you'd have to say that he's just in front. The angle of the camera makes it difficult. I'm going to get this point in before now. In the past, Matt Diskin has controlled a half-back position for Leeds. He hasn't been able to do that, and it's all been the opposite, Hooker, that's really setting this Wigan side alight.
This is Bailey. Bailey to Fielden. Fielden is grounded. Scruton with the tackle, and Bailey. Big Palliasina's on. He's a giant of a man, this fellow. The size of him. He's almost as broad as he is tall. Like a square box. This is Mathers. Oh, that's a mistake. Mistake from Carmont. Oh, he's furious.
He certainly is. Because he knows he had the opportunity. The gap had opened up.
But he didn't want to pick it up, mate, so...
It was there. Ellis was very slow. And so are Leeds to fill in. He'd have been scooting through the half break, and he had the support.
Quite obvious that Wigan feel the best chance of breaking through Leeds' defence is to go where the left centre for Wigan, around George Carmon. They've worked well down that side of the field, and they have looked dangerous. Obviously, they've scored 1 try through that channel, and I think they'll continue to go on that side of the field. Yeah,
it's a good attacking side, isn't it, Phil? Because you've got Thomas Lualai who's patrolling that side. You've got Harrison Hanson that hits a really good hole. You've got George Carmon as your right, and you've got Pat Richards, who's a leading try scorer. So you can understand why they're going that way, and they have caused Leeds a lot of problems.
This is Luke Burgess, just went head-to-head with Palliasina. Big collision. Diskin. And Scruton bounces out of one. Can't get away from the next, though. Bailey was in there quickly, so too Palliasina. Mickey Hyam on as a substitute as well. Now Bailey. That's the last. Diskin finds Sinfield. He'll hoist the kick again. Have Wigan learned the lesson, or will they let it bounce once more? No, Mathers does well. He collected it in the field of play, went into the in-goal area, had to run the ball out, did so.
He wasn't going to make a mistake there, was he? Eyes on the football at all time. It was a tremendous take. No pressure, but it was windy. And as we mentioned, that there'll be a change perhaps in the weather, and down comes the rain.
Don't forget the Millennium Magic weekend, as O'Loughlin makes a little error. In fact, a major error, not so little, a knock-on. Those telephone numbers, the websites, available for you for your information.
Here we are, boys. This side, lads. This side.
So there's the numbers.
Tight in, lads.
And the Rugby Football League website, where you can get all the information about Millennium Magic the first weekend of May. Sinfield gets the ball away. Here is Ablett. Rain now pouring down at Headingley, and it's with Ellis.
Got to start taking control. Diskin now. It is siling down.
To Burrow and Webb. And Webb almost away from Coyle. In fact, is away from Coyle. Burrow. And not only is it, yes, it's not only raining now, it's hailing. Diskin. Diskin to Sinfield. Sinfield goes wide and finds Ablett. And Ablett will come back this way again. The Wigan defence standing firm. The captain takes over once more. Diskin. Diskin to Burgess. They were waiting for him. That's the last one. And here is Burrow. And Burrow to the corner. But that's a poor kick.
Good position there by Liam Colburn. It had to be. The expression on Brian McLennan says it all. All that build-up, they come away with nothing. Fair play to the Wigan defence. They were really stretched, but they got back in numbers. Well, this is astonishing weather. Hailstones are bouncing down all over the place.
And Wigan have hold of the football in the shape of Stuart Fielden. Fielden plays the ball to Mickey Hyatt. Sinfield had to let him go because he wasn't standing square.
Well, there was an incident in the previous play of the ball. The touch just came on as the Wigan player got up and the Leeds player was left in his wake on the floor. Despite that one play before that the touch judge had already come on. And I think this is probably going to go in Leeds' favour.
In Leeds player's face. All right. Penalty to Leeds. I feel he's just gone off as well, by the way.
Come back here, mate.
Well, it looks like Fielden is the culprit with the forearm.
That's a report. It's a penalty.
Penalty to the Leeds Rhinos. Fielden with the forearm in the face is the report from touch judge and confirmed by the referee.
Yeah,
it was on the floor, I think, as Fielden tried to get up.
That's the that was the incident. Oh, that looked as though they were a bit high as well. Joel Tompkins trying to take the head off.
This is Luke Burgess now for Leeds. And it's another penalty to Wigan, to Leeds rather. Wigan were a little bit irresponsible in front of their own posts. This is Burrow. Burrow to Peacock. Peacock trying to get the ball away to Brent Webb.
He said he went backwards.
That's a massive call from Steve Ganson.
Is it ever?
Burrow again. Burgess trying to burrow his way to the line.
That was an amazing decision by the man with the whistle.
Diskin to Luluai. Great defence from Wigan. Diskin again. That's knocked down. It's going to be a knock on. Leeds will get head and feet at the scrum.
Well, how long can this Wigan defence hold out? It's been nothing short of heroic, and that should have been a knock-on. He tried to offload, and the ball was going forwards. This is a Fielden forearm that was spotted by the official, the touch judge on that far side.
Meanwhile, Leeds have the possession from the scrum. The ball has come out, and Wigan have got it back. This is uncharacteristic from Leeds, it really is, but it's fantastic defence from Wigan.
It was forced, that one. They really got into the faces. The team spirit that's on show from the Warriors is absolutely superb. He tries to offload and they weren't watching.
It bounced off the heels of Diskin and Wigan just gobbled it up gratefully.
They're not at the races at the moment to the Rhinos at all.
The kick at the end of this set needs to be good, Eddie. I suppose ideally finding the sideline a 40-20 would be a dream play for them. But they need to kick because they've been under pressure. When Leeds are challenged by their opponents and they're behind by 4 points, they up their effort and intensity in defence, and it forces mistakes on their opponents. At the moment, Wigan have to match that and replicate their defensive effort.
Oof, that's dangerous from high, and those legs came up there.
Well, he just waves it away to Steve Ganson. It's a good hit from Hyam.
Make it careful, come on. Go.
Oh, that should have been penalised.
Here goes Jamie Peacock for Leeds.
Well, that's something that they needed because they haven't been doing that.
Diskin will scamper away from dummy half. He'll give it infield to Ablett. He's grounded on the fourth. Quick play the ball. Burrow scampering run through O'Loughlin. Dancing, trying to find a way through this Wigan defence, but they stand firm. Ablett. Sinfield dabs it over the top. Invitation for Lee Smith to chase. Mathers just says, we'll punt this ball behind our own dead ball line.
Teasing chip over by Kevin Sinfield. It had to be. And it needed something different, you know, for this Leeds outfit. It came from the run from Peacock, and then the little halfback Rob Barrow said, hey, come on, fellas, let's stop messing around here. Let's apply the pressure. Mathers equal to the task. He was being hunted down by Lee Smith. Well, this weather is just amazing. It's as though you mentioned rugby league, and it just pours down. Hailstones, you name it. We've had it all this afternoon.
It was forecast, to be fair, but we started with such pleasant weather. All right, it was cold, but it was dry, and the sun was shining. Now it's just gathered in.
Hold, go.
The players don't seem to bother about it, do they? They just get on with the job. Good on them. That's a great hit from Palliasina on Luke Burgess. Here is Diskin. It's with Burrow, and Burrow finds Peacock, and Bailey gets hold of him, and O'Loughlin gets hold of him.
Hold, go.
Diskin again. They'll go down the left side with Burrow. Burrow inside to Brent Webb.
4, 2 feet,
And Wigan,
2 feet.
again, they stand firm. It's been heroic defence from the Cherry and Whites. Sinfield, Luluai, bumps off two and scores. In the end, the dam broke. And Kylie Luluai, he just seemed to bounce and ricochet off a couple. And what a moment to come up with your first try for Leeds Rhinos of 2008.
And he can put it down to Sinfield. Ran across. He telegraphed it. It was an amazing thing that the Wigan defence didn't pick it up. Sinfield runs and then steps. It's as though he was saying, come on, big prop forward, Luluai. And he took it. They couldn't stop him. And what a time to score. They needed it. They were desperate for it. They knew they were going to get the rounds of the kitchen from their coach, Brian McLennan. Too many errors, too many drop passes. The coordination wasn't there, and over the last 5 or 6 minutes, they've stuck it together, put a good set, and they've come up with a try.
And Sinfield from bang in front does not miss those. The ball sails out of the ground. The 2 points are on the board, and Leeds Rhinos wrestle the lead back. It's 10-8 to the champions. But what a scrap Brian McLennan's men are in here.
Well, they sure are, but it's been a tremendous half. Whether you talk about the weather, or that seems to be something that distracts us all the time. But the quality of rugby league here has been outstanding, and it hasn't changed based on the fact that we've had that downpour and that blizzard really that's come through. But what Leeds did in that last 5 minutes was they did up the ante a little bit, and they asked a lot of questions of the Wigan Warriors defence, and the pace that both sides are able to play at has been tremendous, and I don't think that's going to drop off at all. I think we're in for one heck of a game here.
It's a titanic struggle. It really is. Here is Kevin Sinfield.
Well, the Rhinos have put together some very delicate football when they needed it. Oh, they've come up with an error as well. He's offside. That's play on. They'll get away with it. Oh, no.
To knock on.
Well, they were claiming that he went backwards. The touch judge on this near side, that certainly went backwards. He couldn't go for it, Webb, because he was in an offside position. I don't know where they come up with a knock-on. Either way.
Leeds satellite navigation just isn't switched on at the moment. But you have to credit Wigan because they've knocked them out of their stride here. But Leeds ahead. It's incredible, isn't it? Don't play well, but you're still ahead. That's what a champion side is all about. Luluai.
Oh, they haven't done the Wigan side. Don't worry about that. They've still got a few tricks up their sleeve, especially Sean O'Loughlin.
This is a great opportunity for Wigan with O'Loughlin. And he stands firm in the tackle, does Gareth Ellis. Down. O'Loughlin goes eventually on the third.
Pretty short on that blind side.
Come the other way, though, with Thomas Luluai. And Palliasina drives the ball in. Hyam behind Coyle, finds Luluai. Stab kick is gathered up by Lee Smith, who goes to ground.
Did well there. Joel Tompkins put under a lot of pressure. He was looking at the official to say, wasn't that a voluntary tackle? It wasn't. Oh, he dropped that, did Diskin?
He did. The referee spotted it as well. Diskin's face tells its own story.
Well, the vital seconds left in this game. They are really going to have to defend very hard indeed. I think the official has called time off, which he has.
Okay, here we go.
It's Coyle to Goulding.
They don't have to panic, Wigan, now. They've still got plenty of time.
They have. It's Bailey. Bailey taking on Senior. Gets the ball away to Richie Mathers. Great offload that was from Bailey. Here's Mathers. Just 8 metres short of the line now. Mickey Hyam scoops it up off the deck, fires the pass to Palliasina, pops it up to Luluai. Wonderful try! Wonderful Wigan try from Thomas Luluai. And Brian Noble has got the recipe, hasn't he? He really does have the recipe when he plays Leeds here at Headingley. Diskin with the drop ball, the knock-on, here it is, and after that, Wigan score.
What an error. We said they had something left up their sleeves, and this was it. Palliasina, not noted for being an offloader, has come up with the pass of the season as far as Wigan's concerned. Few of the Leeds fans here thought he was a bit forward, not according to the official. Might look a bit different from this angle. Oh, it could have been. It's given now. And Thomas Luluai has given Wigan the lead at the half-time break.
He has edged Wigan ahead, and Richard's boot will take them a little bit further clear. It's 14 points to 10 in Wigan's favour, and there is the half-time siren. A terrific display from the Wigan Warriors and their supporters, who are in the open end behind the posts here on the left-hand side. They must be like drowned rats behind the posts. But their team really have done them proud and done themselves proud.